Hey, NASDAQ. We get the best up on the markets. We're going to look at futures markets. I am your host, Alan Palmer, and we're going to talk. This just went off here. Today is the 21st, okay? 8:42, this thing went off. It's 8:42 still. And for 5 seconds here, bottom right-hand corner. Corn here, okay, above 463. This is an alarm here, okay? For example, say you and I do business and you want to know about a certain thing, whether it's a candlestick trend line that gets triggered or a Fibonacci or whatever you want, okay? So that's a little selling here. Over the Jan USDA reversal down, okay. Let's go look at that. We got a lot to look at here. You know what? This is on NASDAQ. This is a little thing I did on PBS. Actually, that was his word, mind-blowing here. Let me move this off here. We're looking here. This is my grain page here. These are no beans here. Look at this. We're back up here by 6-week highs here. We're up 6.5. What's July? Up 7.5. Okay, so the July here. We're leaving the train station here, possibly here in beans. Okay. Got a lot of rain, and as a matter of fact, I had a Rubbermaid thing, like a wheelbarrow out there, and it's a skewed, but it had 7.25 inches on one side and 5 3/4 on the other. There was a 45-degree angle for about, 25% of that. We could figure it out, but we got a lot of rain. So here's crude oil here. Okay, the theme in crude oil has been sell it when anybody wants to give you $100 for something that was just at 55. Okay, and everything was really sitting in place here. So no, we're not saying a conspiracy theory that we wanted to ruin Trump's drill baby drill. Okay, but it got interrupted here. Here we could see a diamond here. This was yesterday here. This was 9:36 in the morning on the 17th. This is Friday, okay. And we came down here. We had a couple of olives down here. Here's a green. Here's an orange. Okay, you got a red one stuck right in there. Okay, that one played close and open basis. Okay, if you want to learn about that, okay, I have something. It looks like we got another red one down here at 77.15. Okay, so these would be your numbers here. Hang on, let me move them over here, okay? Sorry, but it's got to be small because we need the real estate over in the left-hand side of the chart. So this is what we went. I said my interpretation was this thing is over. Anyway, we're looking at like a 60-minute chart custom. And we went up here. This is 87.98. The high today is 87.73. I know I got real estate problem. Okay, so I highlighted this. This is the 20th yesterday, 87.76. Okay, let me drag it over here. 87.73. Okay, so we're talking 3 cents. That's $30 on a big crude. 3 ticks, $10 a tick, 1,000 barrels of gas. 4,000. It's 1,000 a buck. Here's meal here. We got a little bounce in meal. I'm just going to touch it. So this is bean oil here. Bean oil is on fire here, babe. Let's go to, what is that, a daily? Let's go to a weekly here. These are, you know what? They're not all-time highs, okay? But they're all-time highs from back here in 2023. Okay, when this green, okay, we kept coming up to a green sale here, okay, so here's what we are right now today. We came up here last week or whenever this was, March 9th, this was the day on the crude oil, okay, that makes sense, right? And then here we come up here again, this is a weekly, okay, and then last week's high, look at this, what do we got? 69.40, 69.32 is this green, okay? So here we are up here, and this would be the next level, 73.43. Okay, another 300 higher. And then I got an olive up there at, let's just call it 77 round down. Would you know what? I don't want to, here's the NASDAQ up here. You got those X's right there. Here's the S&P, a little bit stronger here, trying to knock on the door. This is silver top right hand corner here. We just went down to 78.17 here. Okay, and we're 80 cents off the top here. I don't know. I'm looking to buy some silver lower for a client, so I guess I'm hoping it goes down here. Let's just look at this. Okay, this is silver on the rally here. This is a little bit better. You can see here, we make some trend lines. This trend line comes in 78.07. I like this one here, you know, above this, if you're looking for something, you want to buy some kind of breakout in silver. Here we're looking at an intraday chart in gold, okay? Well, why don't you clean that up? You know what? We get back up there. And here's just a lesson here. Let's go look at, okay, so that trend line here, okay, is up here. See, hang on. Let me drag it over here a little bit more. Okay, so this would be how you would read charts. Okay, so up here at 52.84 is that, whatever that is, trend line. So you'd be coming up to it. Here'd be an olive of something at 5,300, round down. And this is where we are right now. Let's look right now because this is where you'd be trading here. Here's a possible, you sell it here at this 48, call it 17, round down. Okay, or lower because here you had a little red bar reversal here. And, you know, oh, yeah. No, that's a regular trend line. But you do have some candlestick trend lines in here that I say you learn because they still work. And I originally, as a matter of fact, I've got a video here. If you ever want to buy a video on constructing trend lines, I got a CD. And so here we got the beans here up 9 and a cue ball here. What's July Nove here? Okay, so we're just sitting here in July Nove, which means Nove is coming up here too. This is going to be a new high close. Nove beans, November beans. So what they're putting in there right now in the fields. And, you know, if South America can't secure fertilizer at, you know, Goldman Sachs cornered prices, you know, that could be a game changer, you know, where if you can't afford to put the fertilizer in, especially down there, okay, because the ground is so crappy here. Here we just ran down. These are old highs here. Why is this running? This is almost as like Bill Gates is on this computer here. So here, let's look at corn here. This was the original corn alarm here. Oh, man. Okay. So we just went up to 63. That was the alarm here, okay? I don't know. You know, we could fail. We could fail. We just went up there and tagged stops here. This is an area here. Oh, okay. That was what the alarm was set off of, okay? My brain. This was a USDA, okay? So here we are again. As a matter of fact, this is a big level here. That line is at 62.5 here. 63 and a quarter. If one was looking to sell corn here, you know, as a trade with a tight stop, you could have a 64 and a quarter stop. Sell it here, somewhere here, like maybe even right here. Right? You know, if you get under here, you might attract some bears here. Okay. Otherwise, here down here, this 55 yesterday, we came down here. Day before, we got under the powder blues here. Okay. So and we're approaching the end of the month. So that is corn. Let's just look at July D's corn, see what it is. See, this is doing nothing. That means there's no demand. You know, I mean, you know, and people are talking a lot about paper money, you know, in a derogatory way, in crude oil that we're at down in the 80s. And, you know, the very thin Brent crude that's a manipulated market, you know, now they still quoted it $95. You know, while we're sitting here at 87, or yesterday or 2 days ago, we were at 81. Okay. So there's a lot of disbelief in the markets. Here's wheat. Let's just look at wheat here. You know what? I think you just play these levels here. Wheat's just you know, it just bounces around here. Here you got a couple levels here. Same kind of thing like I just said in corn. You go up and make a new high. You got a little tiny reversal, and then you this is just and then here you got these people that are looking to sell that gap possibly. You could put a stop back over here or over here, you know. Otherwise, you know, wheat is in a trading market. Let's just finish up. This is my softs page, page 4 here. We got the June dollar right here, right around here. Here you can see this is a pretty important pivot here. Okay, and we've been holding that. Now we probe lower, but we keep coming out here. That's the U.S. dollar. Okay, here's coffee, just to give you a little idea here. This is sugar here. As a matter of fact, you know what? Let's look at sugar there just for shits and giggles here. Yeah, okay. You know what? If you were looking to buy sugar, you could buy sugar here back over this line. I'd say you got to have a new low stop. You know, listen, you got to have a new low stop. Always use a risk stop to stop the risk. Okay, this is cotton here. I had talked about, let me put that, that's a spread over there, July D's cotton. Oh, that is a daily. Let's get it over there. Okay, so these, as a matter of fact, minus 277 was an olive line here. You see it right here? Here, minus 278. Okay, we hit it here, held on a close, came back down here. You know, it was a buy. That's a buy here. Where's the thin one? Here's the thin one. This is long term, actually. Here's olive line by one. Okay, does it play? Does it play? Market wasn't ready for a bottom, okay, so we go to the next number. Anyway, we went down here. This is where we are right now. That's in July D's. Let's look at the May here, because May's getting ready, as a matter of fact, because it's the end of April almost. This is May, same kind of thing here. Here, this is what it was looking at right here. Okay, just look over here on the right part of the screen, okay? This is cotton that was going down for years, okay? We did trade lower. We spiked down there. When we came down to olive line buys here, it's 62.80, okay? Let's look at it over here. Okay, this was really kind of tricky here, all right? Had the bids down here, went unable for my clients, okay? Now, here, on the way back, you get a rally. This is probably an olive line sell, very short term. And you come back down here, okay, this might be where you're taking a, you know, because we were looking to buy, the funds were short, it was the whole story. If you've been following me for a while, I covered cotton here. This is where we are now, babe. Here, as a matter of fact, let's look at a monthly here, just in this, just for shits and giggles. Okay, here it is. Look over on the right, okay. See, you're looking over there. You're trying to get information here. We want to know how we can trade this to make money here. Okay, so here, this is all I got for you here. You took out this trend line here, somewhere around here. You came up here. This would be the next month to buy a break. As a matter of fact, this green over here is a derivative of that green down there. Whoa, right by the devil's numbers. So anyway, we're sitting up at 78 in the cotton. So if you need anything, you know, and they don't have to be, it could be scalping levels, you know, if you're a day trader or if you're a long-term trader. You know, let's go to, what's this making a new high? Rice. There's rice. We went up to 1175 here. Should we just look at rice? Oh, yeah. Somebody told me how you get your, I've got some gojis, and actually it was an Asian guy, and I was like, anybody got any secrets? I've had them for 9 years, and I get no blooms. Beer and rice. Okay, that's your gardening tip today, okay? So I suggest, since I got about 30, maybe even 40 plants, I'm going to go look around for a tavern that's got old beer. Right. So anyway, you leave that in the rice overnight, and then you use the water, and then 50-50 water and beer. So okay, so this is rice coming back here. We're going to call this a wrap here. What do we got here? This is the S&Ps here, up 3.2%. That said July D's, rice, dollar. Oh, here's copper here. Sorry to cover it last here. You know, okay, you get these breaks. This is some kind of long-term trend line here. What is this, a daily here? Let's go to a weekly here. Okay, because a lot of people on the data centers, okay, listen, if copper goes up to $8, are the data centers, you know? So not only do they need all your water, not only do they need all your energy, literally all of your energy, they also need all of the copper. So, you know, so... going forward, a big macro thought, you know, we might get to a price here that shuts those guys down somehow, you know, but they do have corporate welfare and these tax benefits, you know, for technology that cannibalizes the system, like floor trading. I'm going to do a special on that too, what to expect in with AI and the human employment and the human or the cannibalization of the workforce. So if you need something, email me, arp@nasdog.com. Thanks for watching. You know what? Try to give me a thumbs up on these things here, because I do this and it takes out time of your day, and I try to do it in the market hours. So have a lovely day. Always use the risk stop to stop the risk.